Welcome this morning to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Meadville, a beacon for free thinkers since 1825. We're glad you're with us on this murky March Meadville morning. I want to remind you that your financial gifts to the church and to sustain the work of its work in the community are still needed. And of course, you can do it either electronically on the church's website at uumeadville.org, or you can send your checks directly to the church. This month's Share the Plate recipient is the French Creek Conservancy. We're going to now just spend a couple of minutes saying hello to one another, greeting our church friends, and checking in.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
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 Hello. Hi, Joyce. Where's Mike?
Hello.
Hi, Deb.
Hi.
Let's see.
Hi,
Susan.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing, Chris? Susan?
Good, Rich. How are you guys?
And
Good.
there's Michael and Sarah.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Nice to see you all. Hey, Mike.
Morning.
Oh, good.
We gave up a plumbing video to see you guys.
We're glad we went out.
Yeah.
We could do a service on plumbing someday.
There we go.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of correlation, sir.
Good morning, everyone. These opening words are from church consultant Susan Beaumont, who I will be mentioning several times during my homily, and how I got this particular program started several years ago on liminal seasons. And this is what she says from her class and a book that came out later. During liminal seasons, we occupy space on both sides of a boundary or threshold. We have one foot rooted in something that is not yet over, while the other foot is planted in a thing not yet defined, something not yet ready to begin.
While Alex lights the chalice, please join me in reciting our chalice lighting words this morning. Around us, light is returning. It rekindles the spirit of life in the skeletons of trees. It brings forth new shoots from I can't read it.
It brings forth new shoots from the soil.
It
Wakes us from our winter slumber. Go ahead.
It invites us to see what lies beyond. We light this chalice in the spirit of
Our Earth's awakening, and to reaffirm our commitment to the value of our home.
I'm sorry, all of your pictures were obscuring one side of the screen. Please also join me now in reciting our unison affirmation of covenant and mission. Our covenant is to be a loving, joyful community that nurtures spiritual growth, promotes compassion, social responsibility, and service in an atmosphere of mutual trust. Our mission is to be a faith community devoted to love and respect, reason, and justice. Our opening hymn this morning is brought to us by the First Unitarian Brooklyn Choir. It is "We Will Not Stop Singing," and you'll be muted, so if you want to sing along, feel free to do that.
stop singing till the world can hear the song, till the world can sing along. We will not stop marching, we will not stop marching, we will not stop marching till the world can hear the song, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along.
We will not stop praying. We will not stop praying. We will not stop praying till we all can get along, till the world can sing our song. We will not stop shouting. We will not stop shouting. We will not stop shouting. Shouting right from wrong till the world can sing our song. Till the world can sing. Till the world can sing. Till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing. Till the world can sing. Till the world can sing along. We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing till the world can hear our song, till the world can sing along.
Thank you. Now I'd like us to enter into a time of meditation, and this is going to be a guided one. I mentioned this in the B&B this week, so I don't know if any of you noticed or took part in it. And this is about crossing thresholds. So imagine, well, this is a radical, going into a restaurant from the outside and going in through the doors, and you smell all the aromas from the restaurant food that's being cooked and so on. How does that feel? What does it give you as a sense of anticipation, for example? Or imagine today and not looking out the window and thinking, well, I'm just going to go outside, and you go out into a pouring rainstorm and you haven't even realized that crossing that threshold is going to make you very wet. Or in wintertime, going from, outside where it is cold into your home or into a store, wherever, which is warm, going from perhaps 20 degrees outside to 70 degrees inside. How does it feel? Do you pay attention to it? So let's take a little moment or two to think about crossing thresholds physically, from inside to outside or vice versa, going into a restaurant and just smelling all the aromas and hearing all the sounds of people, or any other thresholds that you can think of where you go from one state into another. How does it feel? What do you sense? What is the attention you pay to it? Crossing a threshold from the known now to the unknown future. Let's take a moment to think about those moments and times of crossing thresholds. One more threshold you could think of is, suppose you've been away on a trip, and yes, that's been very rare these days, but suppose you're away on a trip and you come home after a few days away, or a week or longer. How does it feel to come back into your home from being away? Thank you all. So the question for the breakout rooms after the homily is, have you ever experienced a liminal season? And think of a liminal season as longer than, say, walking into your home or walking into a restaurant or going from one place to another quickly. A liminal season would be a much longer time. Okay. Well, once again, thank you everyone for being here this morning. And thank you to Corinne and Amy and Kirsten for doing all the parts of the service that you do so well. And thank you all for being here again. I should start by mentioning that we should remember and appreciate the celebration of Passover in the Jewish tradition this week. And of course, in the Christian faith, this is Holy Week, Palm Sunday, leading up to Good Friday and Easter next week. So a little bit of a preliminary understanding of why I'm going to talk about liminality today. In the summer of 2018, I took a class on living and leading in a liminal season. And it was taught by Susan Beaumont, who is a well-known and highly regarded church consultant. She later wrote a book, which came out this year, called How to Lead When You Don't Know Where You're Going, Leading in a Liminal Season. And this was, the class was turned into a book after she did several summers of these classes. The class was at the Luther Seminary in St. Paul, Minnesota. And after we got started, and there were about 80 people there, Susan asked everyone, and mostly Lutheran ministers and me, if they felt their churches were in a liminal season, a time when huge shifts in culture, religion, and relationships occurred. Most of us said yes. Partly, I think, because of the past presidential administration in Washington, D.C., but there was also a gnawing, anxious feeling that the world was out of control. Church attendance was declining, and the old routines of how church works and church life and administration just weren't working very well any longer, which is one of the reasons many people signed up for this class. And Susan said after that question, that's what liminality is, a time when we cross a threshold into an unpredictable future from the known past that we are familiar with. Now, a liminal threshold doesn't have to be something huge and monumental. It can be, for example, getting married, which is actually kind of huge and monumental, or having a child, ditto. Or it can be something exciting and unfamiliar and, well, maybe just a little bit dangerous. Here's an example, 2 examples of it. A number of years ago, my partner Deborah's son, Joe, went to Nepal for a year to teach English as a foreign language and also have as many adventures as he could. He was in his mid-20s at the time and ready to see the world. Now, Joe didn't use the word liminal to the 2 stories that he shared, but I think they resonate with that term. The first story of his adventure was bungee jumping in Nepal. He told me that he'd wanted to try bungee jumping for years. And there was a famous bridge in Nepal over the Botkoshi Gorge. It is well known as a prime bungee jumping location in that part of the world. So the organizers, and this would happen almost every day of the week, the organizers would include a video of the actual jump that each person would do. Joe didn't tell his mother the whole story or show her the video until much later when he had come home. And the video was impressive, but also the preparation and the doing of the bungee jumping. You'd be geared up, and experts would check the braces and cables and so on to make sure that you were well fastened in. And I asked Joe how it went, because I've never bungee jumped, by the way. He said, well, he'd been out with friends drinking much of the night before they went to the bridge. And I suspect that was one of the reasons they decided to do this adventure. He remembered being very nervous as he stood on the edge of the bridge, ready to jump down nearly 500 feet. I asked him, out of curiosity, when he had gotten sober in order to take that jump. He thought about it and said, about 2/3 of the way down. That was Joe's first liminal story. Second one was when he returned to Eugene, Oregon after Nepal adventures, and he went into a grocery store for the first time. So if you imagine living here in Meadville, maybe Tops or Giant Eagle or other big grocery stores. He said it felt overwhelming with all the goods and the goods for sale and just the amount of space. Because grocery stores in Nepal tended to be small and with very many fewer options. He said that crossing the threshold into the store for him was so overpowering as a sensory experience that he had to go back out for a while to catch his breath. And it took him about a week to get used to being back in this country where there was so much of everything after his experiences in Nepal. Those are a couple of examples of crossing a threshold into a liminal time. Here are 2 other examples. And Kirsten, if you could put the first slide up, please. Slide 1 shows people parachuting from planes, military, parachuting from planes, obviously dropping into the water. I'd never have skydived, but I'll bet it's a little bit like Joe's experience bungee jumping. With practice and training, the odds are very good that you're going to land safely, but there's always an element of danger. And that's one aspect of a liminal season, according to Susan. There's always the possibility of an outcome that we don't expect. That heightens the experience, but also, according to people I know who have skydived or parachuted, there's exhilaration and fear at the same time, which is one of the reasons they like to do it. Slide 2, please. I don't know if any of us have ever had the experience of being sent to the principal's office in school, not quite sure what's going to happen. As adults, maybe we can think of being summoned to a supervisor's office without any prior knowledge of what they want us for. So think about that just for a moment. Principal's office, or even going into a school classroom and getting ready for a test that's really vital. Walking in, nervous, perhaps ready, but the uncertainty is there. And I have to also mention, of course, there are times when crossing a threshold, like through a door or so on, brings totally unexpected tragedy, like the shootings in Boulder, Colorado, and in Florida this last week. So is it possible that we can agree that we are living in a very uncertain time as the pandemic continues to turn our world upside down? Things seem chaotic and out of control. As an example, a container ship is blown aground in the Suez Canal and nobody can get through. It may take weeks to get it untangled, and the whole world economy is threatened as a result. Then there's the climate crisis, the conversations on racism in this country and others, and so on. That's all liminality. But how about us here in Meadville, Pennsylvania, and the Unitarian Universalist Church of Meadville? How does it apply to us? Last slide, please. Now, hopefully, we will all recognize this doorway, even though we have not crossed it since March of last year. Can you believe that? Is this church community also in a liminal season as we cross the boundary from outdoors to indoors to that festival? I would say yes. Uncertainty about the future, declining membership like many other mainstream congregations, a nagging sense that what worked in the past simply doesn't work as well any longer. Now, you'll probably be happy to know that we are not ignoring that. Your board of trustees, the worship committee, and a new committee on shared ministry are addressing these challenges. And you and others in this church are going to be part of that conversation in the months to come, because it is going to be a very serious conversation about the liminal season we are now in as we cross the threshold into the future. And frankly, it seems a bit daunting as we prepare to have our bicentennial in 2025, and of course, this building having been built in 1836. Will we make it? Well, honestly, I don't know, but I know that all is not lost. Susan Beaumont in the class shared with us a quote by computer scientist Ed Catmull, the founder of Pixar animation films. She said, if we took any one thing away from the class, this was an essential quote for us to navigate this liminal season successfully. Wherever we were, whatever church we were involved in, it didn't matter. And this is what he had written. I'm going to repeat it twice. He said, there is a sweet spot between the known and the unknown, where originality happens. The key is to be able to linger there without panicking. There is a sweet spot between the known and the unknown, where originality happens. The key is to be able to linger there without panicking. And that sweet spot that we could imagine as we cross a threshold and we have one foot on the outside and another foot coming down on the inside, and keeping some kind of balance and being able to continue our movement into the future without fear and with confidence. So what might be a sweet spot as we cross the threshold into what I suspect is going to be a chaotic, unpredictable future in Pennsylvania, in America, and the world. Can we create authentic religious and spiritual awakening for the coming years in this part of Pennsylvania, even if they are types of religious and spiritual awakenings that may not be familiar to us? Most importantly, how can we linger between our known past and our own known future without panic or feeling as though we have failed? Another way to say it, can we maintain balance as we step into the possibilities of what the future holds for us? Can we be patient? Can we feel that we have not failed? So let us plan to go to our breakout rooms. And with that lovely question mark rotating, have you ever experienced a liminal season? And liminal season can be anything that is more than just crossing a doorway. As I said, marriage can be it, having children, and so on. So let's go into breakout rooms and we will have some conversation. And thank you so very much.
Let's take a short time of silent reflection on those joys and sorrows that may be a little too tender for you to share right now, and other thoughts you have as a result of our discussions in the breakout room and the joys and sorrows that your friends here have shared. As Alex extinguishes the chalice there in the sanctuary, please join me in saying our chalice extinguishing and closing words. Be blessed, be fearless and fearful. Step across the threshold to the future, knowing we are not alone, knowing we will help each other arrive at the other shore.
I want to thank you for coming this Sunday, March 28th, the last Sunday in March. We are now going to move to breakout rooms for a half an hour. If you'd like to stay, after a few moments, I will put everyone into their respective breakout rooms. If you would not like to stay, I would like to wish you all a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Though it may be rainy, I hope you find sunshine in something that you do today. So see you next week.